Hello everyone. My name is Amos. Welcome to my PHP tutorial. In this tutorial, we have created this login page using HTML and CSS. So if you want to learn more about HTML and CSS, please check my channel. There's a section for HTML and CSS. And you can watch tutorial on how we created this page using HTML and CSS. So, but this form as it stands is not submitting anywhere. So we want to submit it inside. We want to authenticate a particular user. In my last tutorial on PHP, uh, we created this is a registered page that was created in which we registered some couple of users with it, and this is our database coffee cafe use, and this is the table that we are storing all the users that are logged in inside. So what we want to do is that we are going to make use of this Amos Oluwatosin. We are going to authenticate this user. That once we check for this user, it should open a different page for the person to see. So just to authenticate this user. Then during the authentication, if someone that have not registered tries to log in, we should receive a error message. So that's what we are going to do in today's PHP tutorial. So this is the code. This is our HTML code that we've created to that we've created to submit the form. Okay, so the only thing that we need now to do is we need to make sure the form has an action. Okay, I've already included it there. So, but for a start, this was the way it is initially. Let me just paste this. So your form, like we did on the register, the action is going to here, login.php. And since we are submitting, it should be in post. Then we need to add the name attribute. So since we are making use of username, say username, this attribute is very important so as to know what to submit inside the database. Okay, so now we have the name and the password. Then we have an input. Like I said, always ensure, majorly when you're submitting form, always make use of input. Set the type to submit and you put the name to submit. Then this value attribute is what is going to be showing as it is here. Okay, so let's get back to our code. So this is a link button that will take us back to register in case if the user have not registered. So what do we need to do? We need to start writing our PHP code that will authenticate our user. So your first thing, every code that you're writing in PHP should always be in this PHP tab. Okay, so instead of having to start writing the whole connection of the thing, since we have it on our register page, just make sure you follow, you check what the last tutorial on PHP how we created this. So we are going to copy it up to this point. Okay, then we paste it here. So you need to set your server name. My system has a password, but mostly though they don't have, most systems don't usually have password. So I created the connection here, passing all this variable here, and I check for this connection. If it is true, you should return it, but if it is false, you should return this error. Then we pass this function db inside this variable. Okay, so the next PHP function we need to make use of is set post submit. While you are writing your code, this one is just for starters. when you get to more advanced application that you are developing, you might not need to be using the value of this thing might be something else. But for now, let's just make it there. And like I said in the last year, always make sure you put a comment at the back of it to know exactly what we are doing. So the next thing now is let's check for this connection. Since we said it's post, then the next thing is to check this if that we are using is a conditional statement in the control structure to check if for one value is if a value of a line of code is true. So if con, which we passed, we've created a function called connection db, which we pass it into this variable con. So if this con, that is, if it is true, you don't need the else part. So the next thing is our username. Okay, this is a variable. Then let's just copy this. What is the name attribute that we are using to submit our username? Is username. And the same thing too for password. So let's just drop this, copy and paste, and you change it to the correct thing that you name it. So it's password. So the next thing is that we need to write a query that will go inside the database to fetch this username and password that you are passing. So we'll say SQL is a variable. So we'll say select, this is a PHP function, select what? Username, password from, you can notice that all these things I'm writing are in caps. So from, if you are wondering, this is our database, but we want the username that we are posting here. The username that we type here and this password that we are putting here, we want the two of them to come inside this place and look for this. So it should come inside this table in the database to look for what that username and the password that was entered, which is this, where. So it should look for it where the username. First of all, let's put our inverted comma here and space this one, where the username is equals to the username variable that was declared here, and password is equals to the password variable that was declared. That's the first thing. The next thing now we need to do is that we'll write a conditional statement again. If, then we'll declare a variable result is equals to, then we use the PHP function mysqli query, not mysql query, because that one has been depreciated. Then we'll pass in this con and this SQL here. MySQL query con SQL. Then we need to open our bracket here. And let's copy paste just to know exactly where we are. Okay, so you should go and query this. Now, if it comes to query, the next thing is to write another conditional statement now, which is this time, this one is going to have an else part. If condition, and we put an else condition here. Now, what is the condition? If the next page function we write is mysqli underscore num rows to check for this variable result. It can be anything, but in this case we make use of result. mysql is greater than 0. It means if this SQL and this connection that will pass is true, that means if it is there, what should happen? We are going to now set, you should set a section, section user equals to this post username that we have here. You should set the section for him. You can read all about section on the PHP link I will add in the description for more understanding. Then the next thing is we want it to echo a page using a JavaScript tag. This script, let's first of all close it first so that we won't have any error. Then put it. Okay, so now the next thing is in this script here, we need to add a type and set the type to text slash JavaScript. Then we'll make use of document. So document dot location. Once this user that is logging in is there, you should open home.php. Okay, then let's call me. I need this. Then we'll copy this. We just write a section message and put it here. I'll say user logged in successful. Now, if this person that is trying to log in is not there, we want it to return an error on message on the login page. It will not take the person to a new page, but it's going to, so we just say invalid login details. Please try again. Okay, so now we've written the code that will authenticate the user. One more thing, so let's come back here. We've made use of this already, so let's copy this. Now if the person that is trying to log in, we want to declare this thing, we want to pass this thing in. If the person that is logging in have not registered, the error that we want them to see is here. So this one was message, but we are using error here. If section error, we are now checking for the section error. Mind you, I have an HTML code inside my PHP code, so that is why you can see that I have all these curly braces are inside the PHP tag. If you remove it, you are going to see their results, so you can see it. So it's very important that every PHP code you are writing should be inside the PHP tag. So, but this time around, since it's an error, let's come to this place. We need this alert. It is alert danger. So which is, where is it? So just copy this class. Then we'll put it here. Okay, so let's save. Let's go back to the page now. Now this is the login page. Let's try and log in. We want to authenticate if amos33 is there, but before we do amos33, let's just type someone that has not been there. Let's use adexen 2021. Then just type any password and let's see what will happen. Bingo. So this person that is trying to log in does not have any information in the database record. So that is why this message is popping up that, bro, so Gaza, this you cannot log in on this platform because you have an invalid login details. That is why this error is coming up. So that is exactly what this line of code does. It has gone to the database to query for this thing. So when it couldn't find it, is return this error. That was what happened on the page. Now let's log in with Amos33 and let's see what will happen. Now we have Amos33 since it's the same password. We paste. I'll click on login. Now, why now? All right, let's refresh. It ought to log in. So we have Amos33. Amos33. Invalid login details. Something is wrong. Thought to take us to a page. So if post submit, okay. Let's use someone else to, let's just type an arbitrary something there. Okay, so it is an invalid login. Now we're not trying to use the correct one now. So why is it not saying it? Or is that not what we have? Amos33. These are kind of things that you encounter while you're writing PHP code. You just have to be patient with that stuff. There is something, I just hope this thing is not a cache problem. Okay, let's close this because I don't know why it's saying it. Okay. Let's check our line of code again. We have post submit. Okay. Now we said you should check the con. We've posted our username, we've posted our password, our SQL is here. Then the next thing we wanted to do is to go and query this result. You should query this. So what happened? Why is it saying invalid login for someone that has okay? Then we have this which ends here. Then we set a section user post username. Then we have a script, set the type to JavaScript. Then we set document the location equals to home.php. We closed the tag. Okay. Anyway, this is the exact line of code that I used to check it. So I don't know why it's picking this. Our results, mysql num_rows. That's the same thing that we're having. This is the one that I make use of first. And it's exactly the same thing. So why is it picking? Okay, let's just check properly. So we ask it to check if this result is there. Then you should set a section post user, and you should echo this script document. Okay, let's try and use div 201. We have div 201, div 201. Click on it. Invalid login details. If okay, you know what? Let's remove this and let's see what will happen. Minus 33. It's not going anywhere. Something is wrong. So why is it so? This is exactly the same line of code that I used to do it. So I don't know why it's okay. Before let's dump this SQL. That's how we'll troubleshoot it. Okay, let's see what will happen. Select username, password, where username okay, space, no wonder. No wonder it's saying user uses. No wonder. We add space here. Okay, so let's go again. You can imagine. Please, if you are working with PHP, be mindful of spacing. It was because of that was a space here. So it was adding a space to this almost 33 that was being typed. Everything that we did is actually correct. It was because of this space here. So like I said, please ensure that you don't add space in any of your variables and be careful as you are doing it. That is why it was because of we dumped what this thing was coming, that we were able to know that okay, it was because of that was a space here. So we're actually done. So this is how we authenticate our user. You should go to the database and query and check if the person is logged in. I mean, if the person has record there. If it doesn't, so if I just type any nonsense and click on login, to say invalid login details. But if I log in with div 201, div 201, div 201, and the password to div 201, and I click on login, it's going to take me to this page, which is here. Just like this is what we built this website using HTML and CSS. So please be mindful of your naming character and even as you're typing it, because uh, this variable is equals to Amos, and this one they are not the same thing. So it is because of this space that was here. That was why the code was not able to authenticate this username. So we were telling the code that it should go and look for a username that has space in front of it. But in the database, the username does not have space. So another thing that you can do in another case is to uh, trim it. So what trim does is that it's going to remove all the space. So how do you do that? You put trim, you trim it. So it's going to remove all the space. It's going to remove all the space from there. So let me see. Now back to the login page. If I've added space in front of it and I paste it here and I click on login, it's going to log in because it has this trim. What this trim does is that is going to remove all the space. So for all your input fields, if you are trying to submit anything into the database, I would suggest that you always make use of this trim function, because it's possible that anybody can easily type. Human error are prone to happen. That was what you saw. I added space here, and we're not trying to submit a database that does not have a space in front of it. So that was what happened. So always ensure that you use trim. So it's going to trim any space. If you are submitting any form, unlike this place where we're also trying to submit input value. So you need to trim all of them. So whatsoever the person is typing on that page, whatsoever the person is typing, even though he added space in front of it. Hold on. So whatsoever the person types there, it's possible that someone can put space and type it like this. The system will save it, but putting space there, you are not trying to search for Amos with space in front of it, while you are now using ordinary Amos. The system will not see it, but once you've trimmed it, it's going to remove this space. That is why we have it. That is the function that you need to take note. And whenever you are having an issue, always ensure you dump your value. So there's a PHP this thing that is called var dump, and you pass in the variable. That was what we used to be able to detect that this was where our issue was coming from. So that is that on the tutorial on it. So please like the video. Please make your comments on the video, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more tutorials on PHP, how we build web application using PHP, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, and WordPress. So please ensure you like the video, make your comment, and subscribe to my channel. So thank you very much. I will see every one of us at the next tutorial. My name remains Amos. Bye for now.